So one of the catchphrases for Lumina Learning is where business psychology meets technology. What does that mean? What's the practical manifestation of it? Well, it's this, the Splash app. There are three key ways that the Splash app can be used. Two are for the participants that work with it, and the third one is a benefit for consultants that use this as a resource. So the first benefit for an individual who's filled in the Lumina Spark questionnaire, instead of having their report on paper or in a drawer, it's in the palm of their hand, it's on their iPad, it's on their smartphone, and here's an example of an output. We can have a look here at an individual and we can see it's inclusive, it's unbiased, because it allows them to be opposites, and it allows the opposites to be measured both positively. So a person could be extroverted and introverted, and both are considered to be a positive thing, as indeed we have in this example here. Importantly, the individual can explore their particular splash. So if I click on the button here, we can have a look. This is their overall splash, but what are they like underneath? This is their underlying persona. These are their natural instinctive preferences. And what are they like when they behave every day at work and elsewhere? You can see it morphing and adjusting. This individual becomes slightly more introverted. And what do they do under pressure? We can look at the overextended, and you can see it morphing again. This is incredibly useful for the individual. So the first benefit is for the individual simply to understand themselves, and they can drill in more, read the text, and so on. The second benefit of the Splash app is that two individuals can compare and contrast themselves with each other, and this can be a catalyst for an incredibly helpful conversation. Let's take a look at what we call the Splash Gallery, and we're going to have a look and we're going to compare two people, and it will overlay their splashes to see their pros and cons in different personas. So at the high level here we can see one of these individuals is more extroverted, full of good ideas and energized, and the other one in colour around the bottom is focused, sensible and more contained. Of course, when they have a dialogue about this, they can break it down and say, well, actually, how are we underneath? Are we different underneath? And you can see one of the individuals is not quite so inspired and full of ideas underneath, and we'll match them for outcome focus. If we have a look at how they behave every day at work, we can see a similarity in their level of introversion. Again, slightly less outcome focused, but still a degree of matching. And finally, we can have a look at how they overextend. So put them both under pressure, and what would these two individuals do if they were working together? One of them goes into overdrive, the other one locks down a bit and focuses, and so on. This is a superb catalyst for dialogue between two individuals. The third benefit of working with the Splash app is, as a consultant, to explain this approach to other people, either somebody that you're coaching or working with in a workshop, or maybe somebody after a selection process, or maybe just try to influence a stakeholder to explain the concepts and the model to them. So if we go back here and we have a look, I'm going to show you the Splash-O-Matic tool, which is one that I like to use when explaining things to the people for the first time. You can actually draw someone's splash in front of them, have a dialogue. So I say, how could it be? Are you enthused? Are you extroverted? Are you engaged? Are you full on and energetic? And I can help the individual to drag the tentacle on the screen. But then we say, but actually we're not biased. We're not saying that if you are extroverted, you can't be introverted. And introversion doesn't mean you're timid and shy. It might mean that you contain your emotions, that you choose your words carefully, and it's possible to be both. And interactively, with a potential client or with somebody in a workshop, we can draw and create the splash, and then we can add it to the gallery and then compare their splash with myself or with other people. This is the best tool that I know for conveying the gist of the brilliance of the Lumina Spark model to individuals that have never seen it before. I've met people for the first time at conferences, and within 1 minute have explained the gist of what Lumina and the model is all about. And it removes many of the needs to ask questions about how it compares to other things on the market, because as far as I'm aware, no one else has got where business psychology meets technology in the power of a Splash app.